Hello everyone, it's Marina here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we will be making a crochet vest inspired by Wednesday Addams Checkered Vest from the Netflix series Wednesday. I changed a couple of details such as the v-neck ribbing, the back panel, and I've used faux for white yarn. An inexpensive, simple written pattern is available for purchase as well, so if you are less into visual and more into reading, feel free to check that out in the description down below. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. You are gonna need 2 strands of sport yarn or worsted yarn in color black and white. I've used 2 strands of Phil Coton 3 from Phildar and Softly from Scheepjes. I never know how to pronounce this name. For a comfy long vest for a size S, I've used around 400 grams of black yarn and 150 grams of faux for white yarn. I will also leave all the specifics in the description down below. You will also need a 6mm crochet hook, scissors, a couple of stitch markers and a tape measure. You will also need a tapestry needle to weave in the ends, and if you'd like to make the same ribbing as I did, you will also need 1 strand of sport yarn in color black and a 4.5mm hook. If you don't have that, don't worry, you can always use your 6mm crochet hook and worsted yarn as well. As you can see from my sketches, the vest is made by crocheting a series of stripes, changing colors to achieve this checkered look. The final squares measure around 6.5 inches each, and my final vest measure 24.5 inches long, 24.5 inches wide, with a v-neck of 8 inches. You can accommodate your size by changing these measurements, of course. First of all, let's understand how long you want your vest to be. This way it's easier for you to figure out how many squares you need to crochet. The 2 external stripes of the vest are crocheted and then folded in half. So in my case, I wanted a pretty long vest, around 23 inches long. So I made 2 long stripes of 7 squares that measure around 45.5 inches. Folded in half, it's 22.75 inches. The same goes for the width of your vest. Measure your full bust and divide it in half. In my case, 33 inches divided in half, it's 16.5 inches. I wanted my vest to be pretty loose and comfy, so I added around 9 inches to this measurement to determine the width of my front and back panels. Each panel must be 26 inches wide, so I will need 4 stripes. Remember that you will lose a few centimeters once you join the 2 panels together. The final width of my vest is in fact 24.5 and not 26 inches. Keep in mind that you can add a little bit of length or width by blocking your stripes as well. I steam blocked mine to soften the fabric and define the squares. I will now show you how to crochet both the regular stripes and the front v-neck panels. Grab your black color and make a slip knot. Chain 23. Skip the first chain from hook and insert a single crochet. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over again and pull it through both loops. This is a single crochet. Insert a single crochet in each chain across until the end of the row. The first row is done, so chain 1 and turn your work. Spot the first stitch, be sure to ignore that chain 1 you just made and insert 1 single crochet. If you are a beginner, you might as well use a stitch marker to mark the first stitch so you don't get confused. Insert 1 single crochet across until the end of the row. Again, chain 1, spot the first stitch and insert 1 single crochet. Place your stitch marker if you need and continue with 1 single crochet across. Keep repeating this pattern for a total of 26 rows. I'm almost done with my 26 rows, so I want to show you how to change color. To change color seamlessly when crocheting the last single crochet, before yarning over and closing the stitch, just drop the black yarn and grab the white one, using it to close the last single crochet. Cut the black yarn and make sure to keep a small white tail as well, because you will later secure both of them inside your work. Pull them a little bit and continue working normally using the new yarn. If you are using faux fur like me, please be patient, because I know that working with this kind of yarn is pretty hard. You don't see the stitches, but rather feel them with your fingers, so don't get frustrated, but just keep practicing. Work again a total of 26 rows in white and then change color again. Work as many squares as you need, cut the yarn and fasten off. Repeat the same procedure another time so you get 2 identical stripes like previously explained. Remember to switch colors, so the first square of your next external stripe must be white. Let's now make our front panels that require us to decrease and get that V-neck in place. Considering the total length of our previous stripes that will be folded, the front panels need to be half of that measurement. You can use the number of squares as a reference if you want. My long stripes were 7 squares long, so my front panels need to be 3.5 squares. To know exactly where to start decreasing, you need to do a few calculations. Subtract the desired V-neck measurement to your total length. Considering that each square measures 6.5 inches, you can get the exact measurement to figure out where to start decreasing. Here are my calculations, as I thought it would have been much easier for you to read through and do your own. Once you figure that out, start crocheting your squares as usual, changing colors until you reach the desired measurement. I need to reach 14.7 inches before starting to decrease, so I will make 2 squares and a little bit more. To decrease, you simply need to work a single crochet 2 together every row. Make sure to decrease on one side only. Meaning that when you work from right to left, you decrease in the last 2 stitches, while when you work from left to right, you need to decrease the first 2. To decrease, enter into the first stitch and pull up a loop. Enter into the second stitch and pull up another loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Now yarn over and go through all 3 loops. Keep decreasing until you get to the measurement you need. In my case is 4.75 inches. I'm left with 2 inches wide piece, so I will now continue working normally for 3.25 inches to get to my exact total length. Cut the yarn and fasten off. Make another panel, remembering to switch colors. Once you have your 2 front panels done, you should have something like that. If you need a wider vest, you should have other 2 external stripes. Now you need to make the last back panels. If you want to stick to the original design, you need to crochet 2 normal stripes with the same length of the front panels, always switching colors. If you want to make my version, use the color white only and make a piece that is 2 times wider than the front panels. That means you chain 45 to have 44 stitches. The length is the same as the front panels, so in my case 22.7 inches. Cut the yarn and fasten off. Now you can assemble all the pieces together. You should have something like this. Before sewing all the pieces together, I would suggest you to weave in the ends so you get those out of the way. If you don't know how to weave in the ends, I have a specific video about that, which is in Italian with English subtitles. I will link that down below if you need. Once you weave in all the ends, grab your tapestry needle and one of the external stripes. Fold it in half and determine how wide you want your armhole to be. In my case, I'm good with 8 inches, so I measured from the top of the shoulder until I get 8 inches. Take your stitch marker and mark that point. Thread a long piece of yarn onto the needle and start seaming the 2 pieces together with the wrong side facing you. There are many methods to sew 2 panels together. In my case, I used a kind of whip stitch, so go in and out through both panels, going always in one direction. As we are seaming on the side of our panels, there are no actual stitches to go through, so enter wherever you feel it's appropriate. Not too wide apart, neither too close to each other. Once you reach your stitch marker, cut the yarn and fasten off. Weave in the ends and repeat on the other panel. Once your armholes are in place, you can now join the front panels and the back panels together using the same method. I like to use stitch markers to guide me going straight, so I usually place them at the end of each square, so I end up with squares that are lined up perfectly. The final result should be something like that. Turn the vest inside out and you are ready for the finishing touch, the neck collar. The reason why I chose to make a V-neck ribbing using black yarn only is simply because fox fur yarn is not suitable for this kind of ribbing. So if you are using normal white yarn, feel free to switch color and use that too. As I previously said, I'm using a 4.5mm crochet hook and 1 strand of sport yarn, but feel free to use the 6mm and worsted yarn if you don't have those. The effect will be a little chunkier, but don't worry too much. Make a slip knot and attach the yarn into the lower point of your V-neck where the 2 squares meet. Chain 6, and insert 1/2 double crochet into the second chain from hook. Insert 1/2 double crochet into the next 4 chains If you don't know how to make a half double crochet, I will let you my tutorial down below in the description. It's in Italian with English subtitle. Slip stitch into the next stitch and slip stitch again into the next one. Chain 1 and turn. Insert 5 half double crochet in the back loop only. Instead of inserting the hook through both loops, just use the back one. Be sure to not enter into the slip stitch of previous row, so always count that you have 5 stitches. It's easy to get confused. Chain 1 and turn. Keep repeating this pattern of 5 half double crochet back loop only plus 2 slip stitch until you get to the shoulder piece. Once you are done, you should have something like this. The inclination of your work should be as such, therefore it's now easy to attach it to the shoulder piece. To do that, remove the hook from your loop and turn your vest with the wrong side facing you. Insert the hook on the shoulder piece, grab the loop and pull it through. Chain 1. Turn slightly so you can work from right to left and seam the 2 pieces together with a slip stitch in each stitch. Chain 1, cut the yarn and fasten off. Repeat on the other side, working on the other half of the V-neck, starting from the same spot. So keep the wrong side facing you. If you want to change color, you can do that now. Repeat the same instructions, so attach your yarn, chain 6, 5 half double crochet, 2 slip stitch, turn, 5 half double crochet back loop only. Do that until you get to the shoulder piece. You are already working on the wrong side, so it's even easier to seam the 2 pieces together with the slip stitch method previously shown. You now need to secure this overlapping piece by sewing it. So thread a piece of yarn onto the needle and simply go in and out along the crease. You can also secure the lower part in the same way, weaving all the remaining ends, and if you want, you can also add 1 row of single crochet across to create a nice finishing hem edge. Your vest is ready! I hope you liked this tutorial. If yes, let me know in the comments, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see other similar tutorials in the future. So I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for watching.